I hate to say it, but the media is doing what we predicted they would do. They are forming themselves into a more pliable, compliant, easygoing thing when it comes to the Trump administration. No sharp edges, no accountability, no oversight. Don't stand up. Don't raise any concerns. Jim Acosta is now out. Look, I'm not even like the biggest Jim Acosta fan. I liked some of his interactions with Donald Trump. It's not for me necessarily or whatever. I've got John Oliver. I'm doing fine. But he was popular on CNN because he stood up to Trump. There was an audience for that CNN. I know I'm not a billionaire or whatever, so obviously I'm stupid, but I feel like this is bad for business when you kick out the guy who had high ratings. And so we knew as of about a week ago that this was theoretically the plan, that he was going to be taken out of his normal time slot. He was offered a super late night one. It's considered the Siberia of television news. And it seemed like this was a thing they were doing to placate Trump. Like, hey, we get rid of one of your biggest critics. Won't you love that? And, oh, he can technically still be on the network. People won't see what he says necessarily. And he didn't agree to it, which, you know, you could go either way. But I kind of like that he's not willing to just take that position. And instead, on his way out, he has, I think, some strong parting words. So why don't we roll a little bit of Jim Acosta here?
People often ask me if the highlight of my career at CNN was at the White House covering Donald Trump. Actually, no. That moment came here when I covered former President Barack Obama's trip to Cuba in 2016 and had the chance to question the dictator there, Raul Castro, about the island's political prisoners. As the son of a Cuban refugee, I took home this lesson. It is never a good time to bow down to a tyrant. I've always believed it's the job of the press to hold power to account. I've always tried to do that here at CNN, and I plan on doing all of that in the future.
Yeah, and I'm sure he'll end up somewhere. We could put up as we comment. I'm not going to read it, but Donald Trump had a Truth Social post where he mocks him or whatever. So, hey, great that Donald Trump is once again getting what he wants. That CNN is bowing down, and we see that across newspapers and across television news. They don't seem to be willing to do the work. Like literally their job is to be a check on those in power. But Tori, I don't know, how wedded you are to what happens on CNN, MSNBC, that sort of thing, but I'm worried about the media. Well, what do you think about all this?
Well, first off, let's give a big shout out to our Dragon Squad because this is the type of media that is holding people accountable. Do you guys have like a dragon sound I could make? Like,
I think that would be it.
I'm close. I think I'm really close. This goes back to my playbook, and I want people to not get bored of that because it's the pattern you're going to see, and you can literally count it out. What did I say? Disinformation, distrust, dehumanize, and then you take the press. Hitler did it. Machiavelli did it. Mussolini did it. This is super common when it comes to authoritarian rule. And what CNN, The Post, LA Times, these billionaire publications have done is kowtow to the tyrant. Literally the job of the free press. They are doing the opposite. And what I think Jim Acosta was, and I'm going to make this pun and you're going to like it because it Acosta did him a lot. I ruined it because I stumbled. But what I would say is he's a sacrifice. He literally was this like human sacrifice, like the Aztecs to Trump. He laid out on a platter and said, here, we'll put him in midnight. No one will hear from him again. Can you give us more access? Can you give us whatever it is? What a shameful thing to have done to the one guy who was actually doing his job. You sacrificed that guy. Great job, CNN. Great job.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're totally on point, and you in the end, I agree even more. It's worse than just like them outlawing the media or them seizing control of it. They haven't done that yet. They're just surrendering.
Exactly.
They're like, oh, you might, so
I'll crouch before you, before you do it. Yeah.
I don't know if media is kowtowing to Trump, if their lips are pressed against the floor, what's the difference if he takes it over or not? It's dead. It's dead the second it bowed down to power. Whether that's a Republican or a Democratic president, you've got a job. Your job should be roughly similar regardless of administration. This is utterly pathetic. Mm-hmm. I hope we'll see if anyone at CNN can here's what I want. I want to see someone at CNN get fired for what they say.
Amen.
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be Caitlin Collins or whatever. I want her to be honest, on air, and get fired. And in doing so, prove what CNN has become. This is just sad. I think everybody should
Just make
we
the
need,
dragon
we need
sound.
some media.
Yeah.
Rawr. Anyway, just sad. I'm curious to see where Jim Acosta go. Again, it's not like I'm like a huge fan watching the show or whatever, but I did like that he was willing in his own way to stand up to a
Agreed.
petty little strongman. When you click the join button and become a tier 2 member, you get access to all of our weekly top 10 lists. What are you waiting for?